Now we'll study the different parts of the flowers one by one. Okay, now the first part is the sepal. Now sepal forms the outermost part of the flower. Okay, it forms the outermost part of a flower. Then sepals, they are green in color and they are leaf-like structures. And sepals का function क्या है? They protect the flower in a bud condition. Clear? Next we have the petals. Now inner to the sepals, the petals are present. And these petals are colorful. They are brightly colored. Why? Because this bright color helps them to attract insects for pollination. Pollination means transfer of pollen. Pollination, we'll take it in detail in the next presentation. The next part is this is the male part of the flower, and this is called as stamen. It is called as stamen, right? Now stamen is made up of two parts. The upper bag-like or swollen part is called as the anther, and the lower stem-like part is called as a filament. And here you can see the anther, here you can see the filament, and if you cut the anther in between, we can see 4 pollen sacs, and these pollen sacs, they are filled with pollen grains, and here you can see the pollen grains, right? And anthers, these stamens together are called as androecium. Next we have the female part of a flower, and it is called as carpel. Now this carpel, it lies in the center of the flower, and the carpel is made up of 3 parts: the stigma, the style, and the ovary. Now stigma is the uppermost part of the carpel, and it is sticky in nature. All the pollen grains, they fall on the stigma and they stick with the stigma. Then we have the style. It is a long tube-like structure. It connects stigma with the ovary. Then the lower swollen part of the carpel is called as ovary, and ovary contains ovules. Now next, students, this is the diagram of the flower, and we'll once again revise flower by looking at this diagram. Now the stem of the flower is called as pedicel. The swollen part of this stem is called as receptacle or thalamus. On the thalamus, the different parts of the flowers are present. Then सबसे पहले, the outermost circle of the flower is made up of sepal. The sepal are green in color and they are leaf-like, and sepals को together they are called as calyx. Then we have inner to sepals, we have petals. They are brightly colored, and petals together are called as corolla. Then petals के अंदर we have the male part which is called as the stamen. And stamen एक नहीं होता है, flower में बहुत सारे stamens होते हैं. So stamen is made up of 2 parts. The upper part is called as the anther. The lower part is called as the filament. So this is the anther and this is the filament. And in the center, we have the female part of the flower which is called as pistil. And pistil is made up of 3 parts: the stigma, the style, and the ovary. So students, this was all about the structure of a flower. In the next presentation, we'll talk about the process of reproduction, that is pollination and fertilization. I hope the concept is clear. Thank you.